Okay, hello. Hello. Oh, you can do better than that. Come on, hello. Hello. Now, I realize that all the cool guys, they actually sit down, don't they, when they... So I thought I could do it from... Do you think I could do it from sitting down? No, I'm not that cool. Okay, 1st of November, every year, marks the start of Christmas in my car. 1st of November every year, the Christmas music begins to play in my car. And in years gone by, when I used to do the school run, and Katie was the last one who went to Field Green School, our theme tune was Cliff Richard's Santa's List. And there's a line in Santa's List, and it says, the only thing on Santa's list is that there would be peace on earth. And that's been the theme of tonight, hasn't it? Peace on earth. And actually, we have all got responsibility here tonight to understand what we have got to do so that there is peace on earth. And we're going to try and find out what that is tonight. Okay? So, what's on your Christmas list? I'm actually not that interested. I'm going to show you what's on my Christmas list, all right? Okay, so here we go. Some socks. You've always got to have socks, and I thought that I would get some socks that would go with what I was wearing this evening. So, nothing goes with that, says Michael. Well, here we are. Some socks I thought would be good. And you know, with socks comes underpants. Yeah, you got to have some good, sturdy, wide fronts, haven't you? You really got to have some really good underpants. And of course, when you're stood in the mirror with your socks on and your underpants on, you've got to splash on some aftershave, you know. A bit of the Old Spice. Yeah, that's what we need. Socks, underpants, Old Spice. That's what we need. And in our house, no Christmas list is complete without two things. And I'm going to ask two of my daughters who are here tonight what one of those things might be. The first one might be, at the end of a Christmas list, you would have...
Chocolates.
Chocolates. And the last thing is...
Surprises.
Surprises! There we are. And that wasn't rehearsed. Chocolates and... surprises. So there we are. That's some of the things on my Christmas list this year. Now, back a way long time ago, there was a king whose name was Solomon. And in 1 Kings in chapter 3, he has a list with one item on it. And his list that he asked God for was to have a wise and discerning heart when he was ruling his people. And God was so impressed with him because God said to him, look, you could have asked for riches. You could have asked for long life. You could have asked for your enemies to be defeated, but you've asked for a wise and discerning heart. And you know what, Solomon? Because you asked me for that, I'm going to give you long life. I'm going to give you wealth, and I'm going to give you freedom from your enemy. So that was Solomon's Christmas list. Now, someone has defined a term and has challenged me to put this term into my little epilogue tonight. And this term, I don't know why it was called this, but it's called a Dunn diamond. Yay, there's a cheer from the back. Okay, and this is a little saying that I sometimes come up with, and this is my Dunn diamond for tonight. So if you go away with nothing, remember this: the difference between knowledge and wisdom. So knowledge is knowing what can be done, and wisdom is knowing what should be done. Have you got that? Knowledge is knowing what can be done, and wisdom is knowing what should be done. Now, imagine the scene in Solomon's court when the two women came to see him, and they had both had babies. Sadly, one of them had died in the night, and the other lady was there with her baby, and they were both claiming that the baby was theirs. And Solomon said, I'm going to sort this out by dividing this baby in two, and you can both have half each. And the woman whose baby it was said, no, she can have my baby. And Solomon resolved that issue in a wise way that the ladies were not expecting. So what I'm going to add to my Christmas list this year is wisdom. I'm going to ask God to give me wisdom. Whoop. And the title for my talk is Get Wise for Christmas. That's how we find peace on earth, when we get wise for Christmas. Now, who was here for our One Big Church service at the beginning of December? You know, I couldn't believe it when Mike said that Chris Foote had been just so aggressive with him. I had no idea that Chris Foote, the mild-mannered individual that he is, was so aggressive with you. I couldn't believe it until I had a text exchange with Chris. And Chris said to me, hi, George, I understand that you are providing... The talk... Oh, going off. In a moment, I'll ask him up to do it. He said, I understand you're providing the talk for the carol service this year. Do you have a topic in mind yet? God bless Chris. I said, yes, Chris, the theme for my talk is Get Wise for Christmas. Chris responds, thanks. Is the plan then to bundle Neil after the service? That mild-mannered man? My goodness, I didn't understand what an aggressive bloke Chris Foote actually is. No, we're not getting Neil Wise after the service, don't worry. Sorry, Chris. We're going to talk about these guys. The wise men. Now, there's 3 on there. We don't know whether there was 3. We know that there was more than 1 because it talks about wise men. But we don't know whether there was more than 3. We only say there's 3 because there were 3 gifts which arrived by Deliveroo, as Mike said, during our nativity. And actually, you had a very good sermon on this just a couple of weeks ago from another very wise man. Pastor Rana, there he is, in a reflective moment in his thought for the week from the video there. Sorry, Chris, that's copyright to you, I know, but I've used it. Yeah, so if you want to know a little bit of history about the wise men, then listen to Rana's sermon, because you're not going to get it from me, all right? You're not going to get any wisdom on the history of the wise men from me tonight. But what we are going to think about is how we relate to the wise men and how we get wise for Christmas. The first thing that I want you to think about in relation to the wise men was that they were far away. They were far away. Now, I don't know about you and where you are tonight, but some of you are probably thinking, do you know what? I'm as far away from God as you could imagine, George. I am nowhere near God. And the wise men weren't just far away in distance. Actually, the Bible tells us that they weren't really very religious people. They were about paganism, effectively, and magic. They were religiously, they were far away from God as much as they were in distance far away from God. And if we're far away from God this evening, if we're far away from God, or we feel far away from God, tonight could be your night. The next thing I want you to understand about the wise men was that they had a difficult journey. Now, I don't know where each of us are tonight, but I know that in the bodies of the people represented here today, you'll have all have had difficult journeys to get you to this point. Every one of us will have had a difficult journey to get to here. And God understands and knows our history and knows where we've come from. And despite our difficult journeys, he still wants us to understand him. The third thing I want you to understand about the wise men is that they looked in the wrong place. Instead of going to Bethlehem, they went and saw Herod in Herod's palace in Jerusalem. They went to the wrong place. So you might be far away. You might be on a difficult journey. And you might be looking in the wrong place for your fulfillment. You might be trying to fulfill yourself in your job. You might be trying to fulfill yourself in substances that you shouldn't be using. You might be trying to fulfill yourself in a relationship. You might be trying to fulfill yourself in a hobby. Do you know what? While some of those things are okay, they will never give you the deep fulfillment and wisdom and peace that you need. You need to come to the foot of the manger in Bethlehem and to see the infant Jesus and to understand what that means for you. So they looked in the wrong place. But the wise men then had a close encounter with Jesus. They were far away. They had a difficult journey. They looked in the wrong place. And then they had a close encounter with Jesus. And tonight, you too, if you haven't already, can have a close encounter with Jesus. And I was thinking about this the other day, about when you leave this place, will you still feel close to Jesus? How many of us have got smartphones? Yeah? How many have got phones that you can search the internet on? Yeah? Quite a few in the room. You know, I just got to thinking that for our generation, the Bible has never been closer to people than it is in this generation. All you have to do is to pick up your smartphone, type in 5 letters into Google, Bible, hit return, and the Bible is there in front of you. Never before has so many people had the Bible in their pocket, their Bible in their handbags, their Bible in their briefcases, their Bible in the office, their Bible beside their bed, the Bible in the loo, I understand. Why not, when you leave this place, key in Bible, hit return, and see what you find. Have a close encounter with God through His Word. And having done all of that, they went back another way. They didn't go back to where they'd gone wrong. They went back another way. They'd resolved in their own mind that they were going to take a different route home. And when you come and you see Jesus and you encounter Jesus and you understand the call of Jesus on your life, you can do nothing else but return a different way, return a different person. So, whether you are far away and you feel completely in a different place to people here tonight who are talking about Jesus, whether you've been on a tough journey or you're looking in the wrong place, I pray this Christmas that you will get wise this Christmas. Take a close look at Jesus. Turn your life around, and He will be your guide and your light and bring you the peace that you need. Merry Christmas.